talk some AFC North football here. The Baltimore Ravens gave a little gift, I should say, to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thanksgiving. Shout out to Joe Burrow, who decided, I'm going to wait a couple of weeks before I come back. I'm not going to rush this thing. But when I come back, it's going to be against the Baltimore Ravens. And we're going to win in pretty big fashion, which did two things in my head. It did more than just give the Steelers the lead in the AFC North. Obviously, that's the big one. The Steelers regained the AFC North. It is now completely in their power. They hold a better conference record than the Baltimore Ravens. They are tied in a divisional record with the Ravens, which means this game against the Buffalo Bills only matters a little bit. It does not matter a ton. The Steelers, I mean, you still want to win it, obviously, but if the Steelers lose to the Bills on Sunday, they remain in first place in the AFC North. And then they go to Baltimore to say, mano y mano, who's going to be number one and who's going to walk away leaders of the North heading into the final stretch of the season. That was part one. Part two was, I think the Ravens needed to send a reminder to the NFL and especially to Steelers fans that, yes, the Steelers have their struggles right now. Yes, the Steelers are not a great football team at the moment. The Baltimore Ravens are not either, and they are winning games, but they are not a good football team. And I think we were getting nervous that they were becoming a good football team. And then Thursday night, Lamar Jackson said, I'm still pretty banged up. The receiving corps said, I do nothing. I am still as non-existent as Pittsburgh's. And the defense didn't look good, which it didn't look good for most of the start of the season, then came back, looked good for a little while. Now it's banged up again, and I think that helps. The loss to the Bengals, in my eyes, so significant. Woke up the entire AFC North race. It is now Pittsburgh Steelers. They control their own destiny. It's not great, but you're no longer looking at this going, the Baltimore Ravens are never going to lose again, so the Steelers got to keep winning. You're looking at it going, the Baltimore Ravens are a real team, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers are a real team, and real teams, they lose, and the Ravens could lose. And as long as they are keep continuing to lose, the Steelers can walk away winners in the AFC North. I honestly feel pretty good about the Steelers' chances right now. I'm not going to say and crown them champions just yet. What I will say is that yesterday, in my eyes, was the first time in the last month that I felt optimistic that the Steelers were actually going to pull it off. They could still finish 8-9. That's still a real possibility that they could pull off the AFC North, because it is no longer you are fighting an uphill battle. You just got to win. You just got to coast it out and win the important games. And the important games are against the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. And those are games that I think the Steelers could actually win. Yesterday to me was a gift from Joe Burrow, and the first time, like I said, in probably a month or so, that I feel the Steelers could win the AFC North.
You know what? I think you're right to have some confidence there. And what's funny is that this is going to happen completely without really any input or without the Steelers having the team that we want them to have in order to take the AFC North. And every year we have these conversations about certain divisions in the NFL that are just underwhelming. The talent isn't enough. There's, no one reaches the potential that they are supposed to at the start of the season. It seems like the AFC North is that division in football this year, or at least in the AFC conference, that there is no doubt about it. The Pittsburgh Steelers have an excellent chance here. They beat the Buffalo Bills in this upcoming Week 13 game. All of a sudden, they go from a team that was completely on the decline and with a completely downward and negative trajectory to they might just win the worst division in football, or one of the worst divisions in football. And I think, there is a reason for confidence, and maybe even more so, because the reason for confidence is because the competition around the Steelers is almost making it easier and easier for them to get into the playoffs. Even as we sit here and say we haven't seen this team do what we want them to do over the past few weeks, they've gotten into a better spot. It was a couple of days ago, we were talking about how the Baltimore Ravens were on the come up and the AFC North was almost could have been lost. And it feels in a matter of one game with the Bengals taking down the Ravens, that has flipped. And I don't know if the Steelers win this weekend, I don't know if it flips back again, or I don't know how it can, because they're going to have to duke it out mano a mano. I love the way you phrased that. But yeah, reasons for confidence for sure. And it's just, it's a lot of pigs rolling in crap right now, but someone's got to get out of there. That's what it's kind of like.
It is pigs rolling and that's a perfect way to put this. It's pigs rolling and crap, and that's what the Steelers kind of look like. That's what the AFC North kind of looks like. But just like you said, if they somehow pull a win over the Bills, if that somehow happens, which again, I'm not going to sit here and we'll do our picks here in a minute. If they pull it off, they, in my eyes, have a lead that, like, if they lost it, that's the downfall. That's the worst downfall pot. It's worse than 0-5 to end the season. If you hold a 2-game lead in the AFC North heading into a stretch where you face the Baltimore Ravens, who are in second place in the North twice, and you lose the North, that's the worst claps the Steelers have had in years. That, like, you could take the 0-5, I get it. You could take the 2021 where they started 12-0 and then it was completely, which I think is a close second. This one is as big as it, because you aren't challenged by a good Baltimore team. You are challenged by a bad Baltimore team. And if you cannot overcome a bad Baltimore team, you are not worthy of anything, maybe not worthy of a job. And I truly think that's where they at. What's your 1 to 10% chance the Steelers pull off the North? The roller coaster continues, my friend, and it is crazy. What's your 1 to 10 chances they pull off the North right now?
I would love to see the timeline of like my guesses over this season, because I bet it has gone from like
it's
1
all
to
over
9
the board.
to every single number's been hit. Right now, it's the Puntori 4, and this is not the I don't want to answer. This is the ultimate answer. The decision will come in this first meeting between the Steelers and Ravens in week 14, right? Or 15, 14,
14.
So after this matchup against the Bills. So I feel great about it. I feel really good about it. The 4 should not be construed as they cannot take the AFC North. It's just we're riding high right now. I will absolutely admit it. The Bengals did us a huge solid.
Huge.
The Steelers have to take care of their end of the bargain here first in order for me to get above a 5 and get into totally confidence territory. They win on Sunday, that shoots up to 7 or 8 again, and I don't know how it comes back down.
I agree. I see 50-50 split right now. You got to beat the Bills, because if you lose to the Bills, all we're talking about all week long is how you have to beat the Ravens. You have to beat the Ravens. You have to beat the Ravens. You beat the Bills, you got to beat the Ravens, but if you beat the Ravens, it's over. If you beat the Ravens, you just won the North. Like, there's a chance you're going into week 18. It doesn't even matter. You could lose to Detroit as long as you beat Miami, which at this point it's snowing every day in the city of Pittsburgh. So Miami might not even show up. They might just look at guys. It's a little cold up there. I can't be doing this stuff. If that's the case, if they beat the Bills, I'm with you. 7-8, maybe more. If they lose to the Bills, I think a Puntori 4 is a good one. I think I sit 50-50 split right now, which is good because I think I gave them a 3 Tuesday. I was not high on that situation. Where we stand today, I feel much better about a 5-5 split here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see what happens. It was a gift by Joe Burrow, a nice Thanksgiving gift. And I loved I appreciated the roller coaster of the day because, me, like many other people, spent the day with Steelers fans and we're watching football all day long. George Pickens is having a game, beating the Kansas City Chiefs, and everybody's sitting there going, George Pickens, of course. Everybody's all peeved off, and then they end the night with a little Steelers back in this. We're here. We're alive and well. And I just think it was a good day. It was a good day for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Got to ride the roller coaster. Also, shout out to George Pickens because that was a day. The only critique I have on the man, okay, is that somebody should have told him that they were not wearing their normal uniforms before he put on the undershirt. The highlighter blue with the off blue, it didn't match. It didn't match.